Hello and welcome to the Final Whistle with me, Daniel Waterson, looking back at Hibs' 3-1 win against St Mirren and Paisley. Coming up, James Delaney and I discuss the match, Eddie May speaks with Hibs TV, and we have the post-match thoughts of Darren McGregor. But first, let's remind ourselves of all the action with John Stevens and Keith Reid.
Brad Lyons in possession of the ball. He goes beyond Darren McGregor and he swings in a low ball and it's been tucked into the back of the net. Simeon Jackson from about 6 yards out. He's able to just tap the ball home. Simeon Jackson opening the scoring for St Mirren. Ophir Marciano, but Hibs have moved forward now. It's with Stevie Mallon. It's now with Ollie Shaw. Ollie Shaw gets a touch on the ball and it's in the back of the net, just over the hour mark. And Ollie Shaw, he's tapped the ball home. It's a fantastic finish. A great through ball there from Stevie Mallon. It's just a light touch there from Ollie Shaw, cool as you like, and it's ended up going into the back of the net. St Mirren 1, Hibernian 1.
Much more like it. Great through ball from Stevie Mallon to find Ollie Shaw. The goalkeeper came out, Ladbrokes. Ollie Shaw just lifted it over him into the back of the net. Game on here at the new Simple Digital Arena.
Stevie Mallon swings it in. It's gone right into the centre of the goal and it's been cleared off the line, but it comes straight back the way and it's been knocked in there by Darren McGregor, former St Mirren defender. He's just managed to get his foot on the ball and he's powered it into the roof of the net there. Defensive mix-up on the line. Goalkeeper stricken. He was lying down on the turf, and Darren McGregor, he's just thumped the ball into the back of the net from close range. Hibs are now 2-1 up here in Paisley.
They did get the heads out initially. A bit of a defensive mix-up. The ball stuck in the line. St Mirren cleared the net. It was Darren McGregor take advantage of that slip up, lashing it high into the net to give Hibs the lead here. Hibs 2, St Mirren 1.
It's now dribbling forward just in front of us here in the main stand. It's now with David Gray. He goes long looking for Ollie Shaw. He's found him on the edge of the box. He's got Stevie Mallon arriving. Stevie Mallon, he gets a low shot in and it's into the back of the net. Looks like Vaclav Haladke, he got a touch on it, but Stevie Mallon arriving late. Fantastic late run onto the edge of the box and he's just thumped the ball into the back of the net. So Hibernian have now gone 3-1 up here against St Mirren in the 87th minute. Surely that's the game done and dusted now, Keith.
Yeah, certainly. And that's all down to a great pass from the captain David Gray to Ollie Shaw. Couldn't quite take the opportunity himself. Saw Stevie Mallon running in, played the ball to Stevie Mallon. His shot was just too powerful for Haladke in the St Mirren goal. Hibs 3, St Mirren 1.
Right, James, quiet week at Easter Road.
As always.
And on the Final Whistle, we will stick to the football as we always do. And a game of probably fine margins today. In the end, a really comfortable win for Hibs, but a 60-second spell where McAllister misses one end at the other and then Shaw takes one at our end and it's all turned around.
Yeah, it's a bizarre game of football and you kind of think, did we get away with one with that McAllister chance? And maybe we did, but fair play to the players in the second half for stepping up. It was an abject performance in the first half. It was really, really poor. Second half completely different. I think the introduction of Ollie Shaw comes off the bench. It looks like Daryl Horgan's perhaps got an injury, which is bad news for us. Our lengthy injury list just seems to get longer. Ollie Shaw comes on and makes a huge difference. When he comes on, we push Stevie Mallon further up the pitch. We looked much more of an attacking threat in that shape. And in the end, I think given the way we attacked, we probably deserved the 3 points today.
Yeah, I think kind of the message after all the drama we've seen unfold over the past 48 hours from the club was that we just wanted to get on and enjoy our football. And second half at least, there were some players out there who looked like they had a bit of swagger about them at times.
Yeah, I mean, if this podcast is just talking about the second half, I'd be quite happy about that because I don't want to dwell too much on the first 45 minutes. I thought we were very, very poor in that first 45 minutes, as poor as we've played this season, and even up until Shaw scores, which I think is just, what was it, on the hour or something like that?
Yeah.
I thought St Mirren would look more likely to score, and if St Mirren had got that second goal from that McAllister chance, which I'm sure we'll talk about, you know, it's probably curtains for us because you can't see us coming back from 2-0 down. As it is, within 60 seconds of that, the ball's up the other end. Lovely finish by Ollie Shaw, and from the moment Shaw scored, we never really looked like in any peril. Admittedly, Darren McGregor does hook the ball off the line at one point, but I mean that's as close as St Mirren came. I thought we looked a lot more solid when we switched shape. I think we were playing, what was it, 4-3-1-2 we were playing?
We ended up there after we went from a diamond, after we went from
4-2-3-1. 4-2-3.
Yeah, after we went 4-1-4-1 at the start. Aye.
So yeah, I mean, you know, it's a long way for a shortcut. It's a long way to get there. I'm glad we got there in the end, and you know, like I said, a much needed 3 points. I think, as you said, after the weekend that we've had.
Yeah, and even like you've kind of touched on it there. At 2-1, we've seen Darren McGregor make a heroic block in the line. Marciano, to me, it looked like an absolutely stunning save from a shot from distance that we think was from McAllister as well. So it was almost like just with that one goal, with that one equaliser, the fight came back and the belief came back as the game kind of went on.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's another, you know, full credit to Ollie Shaw, because he always seems to kind of pop up with a goal when we need it. You know, he's not a guy that comes on when we're 2-0, 3-0 up and gets the third or the fourth. You know, he's a guy who, when he has come on, he's come on at a goal down, he's come on at 2-1 down, you know, he's come on at 2-0 down, and he's got a goal that's, if it's not got us back into the game, then it's, you know, put us ahead. It's given us, you know, a bit of, you know, it's given us the chance to actually get back and take something from the game. It's a lovely little finish that he slides it right underneath St Mirren's Czech goalkeeper. I'm going to go with Kladke or something like that. Sorry to the Kladke family, who I'm sure are listening. I'm sorry again for butchering your name a second time. But
don't say the B word. It's still too soon.
But I forgot what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's fine. So 2 changes for Hibs. I think we've seen Ryan Poacher's obviously drop out injured, and came David Gray, and also Vikinta Slivka returned to the midfield at the expense of Omiyonga. I thought very early on we've seen exactly what it was like for what we've been missing in Gray in recent weeks. He gets a great run down the right hand side, puts a dangerous ball in. I think it leads to a free kick, Mirren hits the wall, but just good to see the captain back in the starting 11 today. Yeah,
and I mean, I think that, you know, I was talking about this with a friend of mine the other day, that you know, it's not just David Gray's footballing ability, which is obviously he's a great player, it's his influence on the team, it's the respect he commands from the players as well. Even today, I think, like everybody, he didn't have his best game for the first hour, but you know, we were talking about it in the last 10 minutes, he's still bombing up the right wing. You know, his fitness is incredible. He's like sort of similar to Lewis Stevenson on the left. You know, he just never stops running, and you're right, you know, it's, you always want to have your captain playing, you always want to have a guy who has that sort of influence on the team playing. It's great to see him back in today and playing it right back in. You know, once he got going, looking solid and looking like the David Gray we all know and adore.
Yep, so I mean, we've already kind of touched on the first half wasn't a classic, so we'll try and kind of whiz through it. I think it's about 15 minutes before either team gets a shot away. Canberry turning well over from distance. One bit of class from Ryan Gold, lovely through ball to Darren Horgan. Touch just kind of lets him down. I think Hibs end up getting a corner. The goal itself comes. I think it's McGregor's beaten too easily down the wing. Hanlon should really cut out the cross, and it's poor from a Hibs point of view for Jackson's goal.
It's poor. It's a neatly worked goal. I think it's Dryer's out on the left, and he puts in a great ball for Jackson. I think I did a little bit of a disservice on Twitter. I said he bundled it home, and it's just the sun is quite low here. It's quite difficult to see, which I've actually just realised saying that I was at the other end from where the sun is, so that's no excuse. It's actually a really neat finish, but it is poor defensively from Hibs. You know, we've just said it's great to see Davy Gray back in the team. He gets dragged out of position a little bit. Darren McGregor really gets beaten a little bit too easily from Dryer, and there's 2 or 3 Hibs players covering, but the ball, you know, seems to find its way through to Simeon Jackson. You know, as weird as it is to say Simeon Jackson's playing for St Mirren, you know, he's a guy who's...
Well, he made his debut in the game against us.
He did.
I think he got man of the match that day for St Mirren. Same again today.
And he's obviously a guy who, you know, has scored a lot of goals like that at various levels in England. I think he's played abroad as well. I think he's played in the US. You can't give a guy like that kind of space in the box, and you know, a guy like Dryer as well, who I was impressed with today without him being outstanding. He looked very skillful. It's a really nice ball across, and I think St Mirren were value for their lead at that point.
Yeah, and I mean the the first half they didn't really dominate after the goal, but Hibs were just all over the place.
We never looked
at
like
times.
scoring at all.
Gray gets booked for a late tackle on the goalkeeper. We then change shape for the first time. We go 4-2-3-1. Marciano has a fantastic save to keep it at 1-0. It's a St Mirren free kick. It's a complete miss hit, and it's the first of a couple of really good saves for you off here today.
Yeah, we've talked already about how good it is to have two international goalkeepers in our ranks, and so with Azam Bogdan going down against Elgin, it's good to see Ophir back in. He didn't have a huge amount to do on Wednesday at all, but I thought today, he makes a great save from Simeon Jackson. I think with that in the first half, with that chance from the deflected free kick. It's one of those that it takes such a weird ricochet that it's almost the classic goal that we would concede. It goes right into the path of their striker, and it's a really good stop from Marciano, and he obviously makes a great save in the second half as well. But you can't overstate how important it is to be able to have those two goalkeepers playing in top form. Yeah,
and then from there, I think Jackson had a header that went over. McGinn gets booked. Paul McGinn gets booked for St Mirren. Slivka gets booked for dissent, and then right on half time, probably our only shot on goal in the first half was Horgan by a nice side-footed effort, which is comfortably saved. Canberry's offside for the follow-up. Horgan then takes a bad one, and I'm number one fan of the Darren Horgan club, but it's well established on this podcast. But with the forced change of shape with his injury, we said we would have to go for the diamond if he came off, and in the end it almost proves to be the best thing for us.
Yeah, it was. That injury is right on half time, and they obviously sort of Eddie May and Grant Murray have obviously decided that give him 5 minutes and see how he does, and I think it was pretty clear after about 60 seconds that it was probably the end of his afternoon. You could see Ollie Shaw getting called back, and it's nice to see us play with two strikers again. I understand the merits of playing with one striker. It allows some of our more creative players, in theory, a little bit more time on the ball and more time to create. But I still think that we look better with two up front. Ollie Shaw makes a world of difference when he comes on. He gets a goal, and I'm going to give him 2 assists really. His part in the second goal is absolutely vital as well. While it's disappointing to see Dal go off, because again, I still think he's going to be a big player for us going forward. Certainly not helping to add to an already pretty lengthy injury list. It's disappointing, but in the end it almost kind of works out with Shaw coming on and changing the game really.
More from James and I shortly, but let's hear from Eddie May speaking with Hibs TV.
Eddie, you must be delighted to be leaving here with 3 points. How would you sum up the team's performance in today's match?
Yeah, I think the second half was far better than the first half, and the boys really showed what they're capable of, and they'll go back to being a wee bit free flowing and scoring 3 goals, which I don't think we've done for a little bit.
Why do you think that the team's performance was maybe just a little bit off in the first half compared to the second half?
I think St Mirren were better than us in the first half. It's nothing to do with lack of effort or application. They just used the ball better, and they got in better areas and exploited it better than us.
You must have been disappointed when St Mirren did go a goal ahead though, because it was from their first real sort of attack of the game. Yeah,
you're always disappointed in losing goals, but you lose goals. We lost the goal against St Mirren from the halfway line, which was totally unexpected. But what we see, we've come back very well and had a really good, strong performance in the second half.
Of course, Darryl Horgan had to come off at the start of the second half, and that maybe changed the formation a little bit. Do you think that had a bearing on the game?
Yeah, we slightly tweaked it anyway at half time, but Darryl was adamant that he wanted to give it a try. He wasn't running comfortable enough for us, and so we had to take him off, and Ollie comes on and he scores a goal, but he made a big part of how we go and play in the second half, and Darryl did that in the first half, but he was a wee bit unfortunate on a couple of occasions.
Change as well, also saw Stevie Mallon maybe go a little bit further forward, and he had the hand in all 3 goals, of course scoring in the last one himself. How delighted were you with his performance as well?
Yeah, Stephen's got very good qualities, but his biggest quality is trying to score goals, hitting shots, crosses in the box, dead ball, and he's certainly done that in the final third, I thought, especially the second half. So a little tinker here, he moves a wee bit further forward, and you've seen today that he's very dangerous when he gets around about these areas.
And just lastly, Eddie, obviously good for confidence going into the game against Aberdeen as well.
Yeah, it's the next game what goes on, and whether I'm still doing this or I'm not, all we'll do as a group is try to go and focus and try to get another 3 points to move us closer to the top 6.
Yeah, it's almost within, I think, the first 2 minutes of the second half that change is made. Hibs go to the diamond, The second half, I don't know what happened. The game just burst into life in the second half. Actually, a very entertaining game for the neutral, probably. Second half starts, there's a mistake for Hanlon, miscontrols. Jackson looks like he's through on goal, kind of possibly loses his footing. Hibs go right up the other end of the pitch, and Gold has a long range effort that goes just past the post. They then have half a chance where Whitaker, to me, looks like he should put a ball in first time, and Canberry's screaming for it on his own in the middle, takes the touch and the chance is lost. Bartley has a shot on goal. Marvin Bartley had a shot on goal. Might have been a pass or a cross, I'm not sure.
It could have just been a clearance.
But yeah, for the first time it looked like, I've got it written down, Hibs are dominating for the first time in the game, and then it was about 15 seconds after I typed that out, St Mirren probably should kill the game off. They should go 2-0 up. It's a shambles at the back from Hibs, frankly.
I must admit, I missed right up until the point where McAllister has the shot, so you have to fill me in here.
McAllister, I think it's a speculative kind of long ball. Marciano commits himself, completely loses either his footing or just missteps. The goal is open, you know, we can see it from the angle perfectly from where we are sitting. It's an open goal to roll it in. He takes a turn, and at that the chance is almost virtually gone because Hibs have had time to recover. Does get the shot away in the end, and I think it's Bartley who very easily kind of
just comes and
tightens
takes
it up. Hibs literally go up the other end of the pitch. Stevie Mallon plays through Ollie's shot, and a really composed, tidy finish under the goalkeeper.
Yeah, very sort of typical kind of Ollie Shaw finish, really. I don't even think he takes a touch before it. I think he just runs onto it and slides it underneath the keeper. But yeah, like what we're saying, it's Ollie Shaw coming on and getting a goal when we needed a goal. We've said that a few times this season. I mean, even going back to the last time we played St Mirren at Easter Road, we're a goal down. It's Ollie Shaw who brings us level in that game. It's a very tidy finish, and I think at times there's often questions about whether Ollie's ready to be sort of playing regular at this level, whether he's a bit light, whether that he does have the ability, but his finishing is right up there with the best strikers in the league. It's a lovely little finish, and like I said, his influence in the next two goals is huge as well.
Yeah, and it's a huge shift in mentality almost for both teams after that. St Mirren must just be, I'm guessing they're not exactly having the best of seasons obviously, but they must be kind of bemoaning their luck almost that they should be 2-0 up and now it's one each, so they're kind of on the defensive. Hibs have got their backs up, they're ready to press on, and it's not long after we get the corner. It's a great leap from Shaw to get his header away. I think it's cleared off the line, but it's not the goalkeeper that gets to touch it, and McGregor's first to react, and a good poacher's finish from Danny McGregor.
From top striker Danny McGregor, absolutely lashes it into the net. I think even if the keeper was up, he wouldn't have saved that, but it's one of those where you take a goal in this game whenever it came, and Darren McGregor in the right place at the right time, as he would be 60 seconds later 100 yards down the pitch. But it's two really vital goals there McGregor's popped up with in the space of a month now against Rangers and against St Mirren, and it's always nice to see Darren getting a goal, and
both against these former teams.
Both against these former teams, so hopefully playing Cowdenbeath in the next few weeks.
Well, they've got a straightforward cup game midweek, so
they do,
yeah. But yeah, we've already said about how the momentum shifted and the belief just seemed to be back at that point. We're obviously going to have to ride a storm because St Mirren are playing for their lives at the moment, and it was summed up by Darren McGregor's block. Again, probably a bit questionable defending. St Mirren get a litany of chances away, it must be about 3 or 4 shots away, but that final clearance off the line was just incredible.
It's amazing, and you don't look at Darren McGregor as being the most flexible man in the world, but I mean, that takes hours of yoga practice to get his leg up that high and hook that off the line. Absolutely amazing clearance, and hero at both ends really for us today.
Yeah, and then not long after that, a couple of minutes later, we think it's McAllister gets a shot away from 35 yards.
Yeah.
Marcy, I don't think he sees it until the last minute.
There's a lot of bodies in the way, and it's moving as well.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous save, and it's actually a really good cover and tackle by Marvin Bartley as well. I think he's the first to react to it and kind of hook it away, because it looks like Jackson's sort of homing in on it, and it's a tap-in really if he gets there. But a tremendous save by Alfredo Marciano, and kept us in the lead.
Yeah, and then we make the change then, so Gold comes off and Omiyonga comes on. It then looks like it goes back to a kind of 4-3-1-2, maybe still Diamond, but I like a change of formation. And Hibs then they seen it out comfortably enough after that Marciano stop, and then that was summed up with the third goal, which was easily the pick of the goals for the game. Gray, brilliant crossfield pass to Shaw finds Mallon, bursting in, tidy finish, game over.
Very well worked goal. Pinpoint ball by David Gray, because when it goes over the St Mirren defender's head by an inch, and really composed again by Ollie Shaw. You know, it's very easily could have taken that one on himself, but really unselfish to lay the ball back to Stevie Mallon. You asked the question quite rightly. I don't know if it was actually in the box when he hits it or not. Might be his first goal from open play inside the box, but I'll need to double check that one. But it's a neat finish. I think the St Mirren goalkeeper might be a little bit disappointed he didn't get
I think if
behind it.
Anyone needed a goal today, it was Stevie Mallon.
Yeah, and I thought he was much better today when we moved him further up the pitch. I thought we looked much better today when Stevie Mallon played further up the pitch. I think he was able to have more of an influence there. It wasn't as if he was, you know, spectacular in spraying passes around. Some of his passing was excellent. His ball through for Ollie Shaw is brilliant, but he looks more comfortable on the ball. He looks more comfortable getting the ball in the final third of the pitch than he does in our sort of defensive third.
I think, I mean, the first half, no one really stood out in the first half, but I feel like it's almost been unfair on Mallon, seeing him play so deep recently. We've talked about it previously. The guy's main attribute is putting the ball in the back of the net, so we need to keep him up there. You know, it's especially if we've lost Horgan, so we're almost going to be forced into playing a narrow midfield for the rest of the season, so get him as far up that midfield as possible.
Absolutely, and I think you saw today, you know, that what he can bring to a team when he's playing that far up the pitch. You know, it then becomes how do you kind of shoehorn the rest of our midfield in that, but you know, that's something that can be worked on. Like I say, I thought Mallon and our own performance as a team kind of improved in the second half when Mallon was given that kind of freedom and given that kind of you know, ability to go forward.
Yeah, I think the over 1,200 Hibs fans still travelled through today, given the circumstances. That's pretty incredible. It gave us a brilliant backing. So Aberdeen is next, and you feel like we just need to, I don't know, it's a very simple and easy thing to say, but nobody really knows what's about to happen in the next few days. We've got the transfer window about to close, and it's just a case of looking. I have absolutely no idea how to word this.
I'm sure nobody's tuning into this to hear any kind of exclusive news, but we know as much as you. You know, I think that's probably the best way to say it. From the purely football side of things, Aberdeen are a good side. They're in good form. And Sam Cosgrove, incredibly, they've got a player who's gone from goal shy to goal machine over the past few weeks. I think he's got 9 goals in his last 8 games, which, you know, is pretty impressive. You know what they're going to bring. It's going to take a really good performance from this Hibs team to get something from that game. But I mean, we've seen today, you know, particularly in that last half an hour, that the quality that this team's got, the ability that some of the players have got in this team.
And now here's the post-match thoughts of Darren McGregor, who's talking to John.
Darren, you must be delighted to be coming away from here with all 3 points, you know, helping the club out and pushing forward again towards the top 6.
Definitely, I think at this stage in the season and with the run of results that we've had, we just needed a victory. So the first half performance again was probably below the standards that we set, but the second half performance I thought was really pleasing to come away and to score 3 goals. Mentioned to Ollie Shaw, he came on, changed the game, got 2 assists and a goal, so it's great that you can call on younger guys like that to come and change the dynamics of the game, and hopefully this shifts the tide into a more positive train of thought. We can go into Aberdeen and take the game to them.
As you said, the first half performance maybe didn't quite reach the heights that the squad are obviously capable of, and you know, yourself must have been really disappointed to see St Mirren score with their first real attack of the game too. You know, why do you think the first half performance was maybe just slightly below par?
It's difficult to say. I think there's probably been more poor performances this season than good, and I think as a group we're an honest group, and we can appreciate the fans the fans' annoyances with performances and whatnot, but I'd just like to tell them that obviously we're trying, we all love the club, we want the club to be in the right direction, we know we're underperforming, but as I say, there's a lot of honest guys in there, hard working guys, and today showed that to come away after obviously all the off-field antics that have been going on and come away with a 3-1 victory. It's testament to the character of all the players.
Second half, as you say, was a good performance, probably a bit more like the team and like they're obviously capable of. Must have just been a fantastic feeling to obviously be seeing the supporters behind the goals getting to cheer some goals.
It is, and they always come and support us wherever we go, and home attendances this year have been excellent, so we know we're well supported, so it's good to give them something back, because it's been a while, I think 5 or 6 games since we've actually won, so glad that they're going away happy, and obviously we need to use this as motivation going into the next game and build on it and keep building.
There was a moment almost as rare as hen's teeth when you got a goal.
2 this season, come on, he's a bit credit, but I think the boys are giving me a ribbon for my celebrations. I need to sort something out, but I actually thought I'd put over the bar for half a second, so that would have been entertaining, but it's great that I can I think that's something that's been missing in previous seasons with my game, so that's me got 2 now, so I'm happy to contribute, and just luckily I got on it at first.
Goals from every department of the field as well, defence, midfield and attack, good to see everyone chipping in with goals.
Aye, great, and obviously Stevie got his goal, he capped it off at the end, which made the last sort of few minutes a bit easier to deal with, so it's good we're scoring goals, just need to try and keep them out at the other end, and I will be on to a winner.
And just lastly, Aberdeen coming up, getting the 3 points here today, must obviously be doing the boys a world of good going into that game, because obviously going to be a tough one coming up against Darren McGuinness's side.
Of course, I think Aberdeen always give us a tough game, and they're a good side, but as I say, I think 3 points today is definitely given us that fire back in our belly and motivated us, and it's a home tie in front of a packed Easter Road, so what more can you ask for?
So that'll do us for this week's episode. Extended highlights from Sunday's match are now available, along with all the rest of this season's games, as well as a huge archive of other classics all on Hibs TV. Next up for us is a visit of Aberdeen this coming Saturday. Tickets are available online for that one, and the match will be broadcast live for all Hibs TV members. Until then, my thanks to James Delaney as always for joining me. Massive thank you for listening, and join us next time on The Final Whistle.